Storybeans presents The Oak Tree Friendship. In a cosy green farmyard, nestled between gentle hills and fields of golden wheat, lived a lively collection of animals. Chickens clucked in the coop, cows grazed in the meadow, and sheep huddled like fluffy clouds in the pasture. But high above it all, in the old oak tree near the barn, lived two very different birds. Skye, a graceful female swallow with feathers as dark and shiny as midnight, and Percy, a plump male wood pigeon with a chest as round as an apple and a voice as soft as the rustling leaves. Despite their differences, Skye and Percy were the best of friends. They spent every spring and summer together, racing through the skies, chirping songs at the top of the barn, and playing hide and seek among the apple trees. "You fly like the wind, Skye," Percy would coo. "And you hum like a lullaby, Percy," Skye would trill. But as the summer turned to autumn, the wind grew colder and the leaves turned fiery red. One crisp morning, Skye gave a little sigh and perched next to Percy on the oak tree's branch. "It's almost time for me to leave," she said, her voice soft. "Leave?" Percy puffed his feathers. "Leave where?" "You know, Percy. Every year I fly south for the winter, to the warm lands far beyond the mountains, where the sun still shines and the bugs are plenty." Percy frowned. "But what about us? What about all our games and stories?" Skye tilted her head. "I'll come back, like always, just like last spring." This time, Percy didn't smile. Instead, he murmured, Maybe you like those warm lands more than you like me." Skye's eyes widened. "What? Of course not." Percy fluttered down to a nearby branch. "You're always so excited to leave. Maybe you should just stay there." Skye was quiet for a moment, her heart thumping. "Well, maybe I will," she said at last, a little sharper than she meant. "If you're going to be like this, maybe I won't come back." Percy didn't reply. The next morning, Skye was gone. At first, Percy felt relieved. No more arguments. No more talking about faraway places he'd never see. He strutted around the farm, cooing with the other pigeons and pecking at seeds on the ground. But as the days grew shorter and the wind grew colder, something inside Percy began to ache. He looked up at the sky every morning, hoping to hear Skye's cheerful trill, but there was only the whistling wind. "She's gone, Percy," clucked Henrietta the hen. "Swallows always leave for the winter, you know that." "But she said maybe she wouldn't come back," Percy murmured. "You didn't mean what you said, did you?" asked Molly the sheep. Percy shook his head. "I was just sad she was leaving again. I didn't want to lose her, so I pushed her away." Days turned to weeks. Snow blanketed the barn roof. The pond froze into glass. Percy spent his time alone in the oak tree, watching the horizon. "I miss her," he sighed. Farmer Joe's dog, Murphy, gave him a sympathetic look. "She'll come back, mate. You birds always do." But Percy wasn't so sure. Then, one bright morning, as the last bits of snow melted into puddles and the daffodils began to wake, Percy heard a familiar sound. "Twit, twit, twee!" He froze. His heart skipped. Could it be? "Twit, twit, twee!" A shadow zipped through the air, looping and diving with joy, and there she was, Skye, with her midnight feathers glistening in the morning sun. Percy nearly fell off his branch in surprise. "Skye!" he gasped. She hovered for a moment, then landed gently on a nearby branch. "Hello, Percy," she said. Percy stared at her, mouth open. "You came back." Skye smiled. "Of course I did. I said something silly before I left. I was just upset. I never meant it." Percy's feathers ruffled with emotion. "I said something silly too. I didn't mean any of it either. I missed you." "I missed you too," she whispered. The other animals watched from below as the two friends chirped and cooed and laughed again, just like old times. That afternoon, Percy took Skye on a grand tour of everything she had missed: the new lamb in the field, the way Farmer Joe's hat kept blowing off, and how the cat had got stuck in the hayloft. And Skye told Percy stories about the warm southern lands, the bright flowers, the singing frogs, and the towering palm trees. They listened, they laughed, they flew. Later, as they sat on their favourite branch in the old oak tree, under a sky streaked with pink and gold, Percy turned to Skye. "I think I understand something now," he said thoughtfully. "When you were gone, I realised how much I care about you. Maybe being apart helped me see just how important our friendship is." Skye nodded. "Sometimes when we miss someone, our heart grows a little bigger. It makes room for love and forgiveness." They sat in silence for a while, the breeze gently swaying the leaves around them. "I'm glad you're back, Skye," Percy said at last. "And I'm glad I came home, Percy," she replied. And from that day on, they never let a silly disagreement come between them again. Thank you for watching Story Beans. See you next time.